Well, hello again. Happy Saturday. So it's a nice day out today. I've been working on this little greenhouse. I built it out of relay racks, computer racks, whatever. They're basically just two posts, and you normally hang computers off of these little holes. You know, you'd put a clip in here and then mount the computer in there, and it would hang off the back. Anyway, so I had a bunch of these pieces of steel, and we chopped them up and turned it into this like 7x7 little greenhouse. And so I'm gonna finish welding stuff onto this maybe today, probably tomorrow. Right now I'm gonna get started working on the building over here because I screwed up placing one of the, well, a few of the pads actually, but one of them is off enough where we can't weld the post on even just to the edge of it. So what I'm going to do is take my cement saw and cut a little groove into the concrete about 3 inches wide, and I'm going to put a piece of 3-inch by 1/4-inch plate right next to the 1/4-inch plate that hooks onto the little studs that go down into the concrete. And then I'm going to use the gas welder to weld this on, because I don't want it to, you know, be like bulged up where the weld is. And rather than having to grind it down, I'm just gonna use the gas welder and not add any more metal to it, or very little metal to it if I can get away with it. Anyway, so that'll be strong enough, and then the post will sit, you know, right in here, essentially. So I just want to make sure it's attached to the whole thing. Probably would have been just fine, you know, attaching even 2/3 of the post and just leaving a part of it hanging off, but I figure this is better, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so there is my little piece of plate next to the other plate. Anyway, I just took this little saw right here, and it's meant for cutting tiles and whatever, but it's got a diamond blade on it, so it cuts right through this stuff. And I just went back and forth until I had it about right, and then so I was going with the blade like that to cut it, and then I just took the blade and slid it back and forth to kind of smooth things out. So you can kind of see all my gouges and whatnot, but plate fits perfectly. It's nice and level, and now I'm just going to weld it together. Gloves suck for this. Okay, so I had 3 of these weld plates that I had off a little bit. So this one, the middle one, I added 1.5 inches, and then the other one on the very end, I put 3 inches out on it. What I did is I went through it first with the oxyacetylene, and I had that V groove cut in here so I could get, you know, fusion all the way down to the bottom, and that left a pocket in there. And then I went back after cleaning it up a little bit, and laid down some MIG on top of it, and that left a bead up on top, which I couldn't leave because the post needs to sit on top of here. So I ground that down, and you can see my outline for where that post is going to land. So we're going to put that down there, and it's pretty close. I mean, that black line is on the outside of the of the post, so it'll still be a good 1/4 inch or so in from the edge, enough room for me to get a decent bead on there. And anyway, that'll be where our post is going to be. So, and then the other plates were landing, closer to the middle of each plate. You can see here. So, yeah. Anyway, it's going to turn out. So today we're going to start lifting these posts up, and Oh, I welded these little tabs on here as well, for hanging our girts on, so we don't have to try to hold them in place or clamp stuff on to hold them. So I don't know, just seemed like it'd be easy. Only took probably 5 minutes to post to do it. So anyway, I'm gonna stand them up and then take some of these purlins and clamp them onto the side, you know, at the very top. Whoops. Should have a clean workspace, right? Not have stuff. See, instructions are just no good. Nobody needs those things. You get in the way. So I was gonna clamp them up at the top, you know, just going outward from the concrete, because of course when you have one going down to the concrete, it'll just slide around, I figure. So I'm gonna do that, and that should hopefully hold it relatively stable, and we'll get her level, and then weld it in, and then we can take those outriggers off and move on to the next ones. So yeah, also that welder works a lot better now that I have 240 going into it. I did, you know, I'm still using the 110 plug, and I just wired the two legs of my hot, or whatever, two legs of my power up to so I've got 120 here, 120 here, and then the neutral going through the ground pin. And this is all 12 gauge, so it can handle 20 amps, and that's what I have it set to. But that way the welder only draws about 10 amps across the 240 versus drawing just over 20 amps and not succeeding on the 110 side, 120, whatever. All right, first one is down, or up, I should say. I only put the one clamp on it, and then it was balanced enough. I got a couple tacks on the bottom, then we pushed it back and forth to get it right, and then tacked the other two corners, and then I threw a weld along each of the four sides. So anyway, this thing's working well now that I've got it on 240. It was not happy on 110 or 120, whatever, for this stuff. I mean, these little welds up here, it did fine, but when I got down to this, it was like, you know, yeah, just not quite strong enough. All right, guys, well, we're up to 4 posts up now. We've got that north wall completed. We've got this center bit. We've got 1 post up. We're gonna get the other 2 posts in and get our girts up on the back wall and the front wall, and then I'm gonna frame in that door today. And then tomorrow we should be ready to start putting our C-channels up and get our purlins in place. And then that bay will be done, and then probably this weekend we'll be working on these other 3 posts and getting getting this all framed in. And then next week sometime we'll be up to putting siding on, probably. We'll see. I haven't decided what we're going to do yet on the garage side here, because we haven't finished pouring concrete, because we still need to, you know, we're going to need another probably 1.5 yards of concrete to finish that footing around the perimeter here. So we've been talking about possibly putting putting a slab in this front corner or quarter of the garage, so we'd have a place to store things that are easier to store on top of a slab, you know, like the motorcycles and stuff like that, and you know, solar panels and things and whatever, just stuff and junk. And if we did that, we could order enough to do that slab and go out to the end point right there. And we'd also be able to put our middle post into the slab, because you see where the middle part is there, and then where we've got that weld plate sitting right there. Basically, there'd be another one right about in here somewhere. So that way we'd be able to put all the weld plates into concrete like that. Because my plan at this point was just to drill a hole right here and you know, sink that post right into the deal. But I don't know, we shall see. For now, I'm just happy that these posts have been going up as well as they have. I was a little concerned. I'd never put weld plates, you know, never welded onto a weld plate, and I thought, oh, they're going to be unstable and blah, blah, blah. Last night we just had the two posts up in the air, and wind was blowing like crazy and stuff, and they weren't even moving. So, yeah, it was just silliness on my part, thinking that it was not going to be strong. I mean, really? It's concrete. Have you ever tried to break the stuff? Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get back to work, I think. Didn't quite get as much done as I had hoped, but got quite a bit done. We've got 8 of the 9 poles up, posts, whatever, a bunch of the girts and the beams up top that are gonna go above our ceiling. I have not started framing the man door in yet, right here, and I'm kind of twisting on where we're gonna put the man door on the other side. Man door, walk door, whatever you call it. But we're discussing putting that slab up in the front, you know, so we'd have a little, what, about 16 by 21 slab right there. And if we did that, we'd probably want to put our walk door over on the left instead of back here like we planned originally. So, I don't know, have to decide that. But we only have one more post to put up for our shop, and then we can start putting up the C-channel and the purlins so that we can put our roof on. And that little support can actually come down. It's not doing anything anymore. Oh, this is the welding wire I've been using. This INE stuff. It's flux core, so I don't have to use my gas bottle, and it works better in the wind. I don't know, I like it pretty good. I've bought a couple other spools. One is from a company called Yes Welder, and another one from Blue Devil. So I'm gonna give those a try too. They're about half the price of that stuff, but we'll see. I didn't want to use it on the bottoms of the posts because that's relatively important. But I figure any of that stuff should probably work out good. I don't know. The Yes Welder stuff, a lot of people were bragging it up, saying it was great stuff. So hopefully, because that's like $40 a spool versus $70 for this stuff. Anyway, so these went pretty easily. We didn't have any problems getting those the beams going across here up, and anyway. So I guess tomorrow we will work on this some more. And for now, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.